few minutes to sit back. I promise you're going to learn something. He's going to definitely tempt you, especially on that palladium. Lots of things to talk about. This is just fun. I want to get this for my niece and nephew. I mean, I really do.
I would do it now.
Yeah, because I just saw. Now, are you going to be able to get more of these?
No.
Oh, you're not?
Well, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Just not at $119.
Okay.
I mean, as a matter of fact, given where silver is to now, it's going to be like $199, not go back to the $169.
No kidding. Okay.
One of the things that I talk about here about this is, you know, when we do these special things, we try to plan the shows out. There's certain items that come in at the last minute, you know, these really hot items right from the U.S. Mint. But they're kind of an old stalwart. I've been selling this since 1988, okay? Silver Kennedy $half, okay? The last of the Silver Kennedy. So we planned on this literally probably 2 months ago.
Okay.
So we want to put this in our rotations through, you know, September, October. So I need to buy as many coins as I can get where I can do special pricing. We do feature pricing, take $50 off.
Okay.
So I bought literally tens of thousands of these coins. Okay, and I got them from a guy that not only did I get the Silver Kennedy, but he sent them to me brilliant uncirculated. So you can hear the silver. There's no sound quite like silver that you're going to have right there. So these are the Silver Kennedys, but they're also brilliant uncirculated. So what they are is they're collector coins. So I'm basically charging you for the silver price and giving you that collector or numismatic value at no additional cost or charge. So here's ultimately what the big thing is on this. So when we originally did this and decided to do feature pricing on this, that was probably 2 months ago. Silver's gone up about 40% since then. Is up significantly, significantly in price. As a matter of fact, silver's pretty close to 3 or 4 year highs right now.
Okay.
So my response once again to that is to take 30% off the price of Silver Kennedy $half, even though silver has absolutely exploded. The problem with that, now I bought like I said, I bought tens of thousands of these coins. I've aired this once or twice before, and we've sold tens of thousands of coins. I have some left, but I probably only have 15,000 coins left. You're going, oh, well, that's a lot. Well, not when you go 20 at a time.
No.
Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to get, and I want to grab some of these coins here. I just put these, I just want to put them so that I can.
You're right, they do sound different.
They do sound, well, silver's different. That's why they put silver in bells. I mean, because it rings.
Yeah, true.
But I want to show you that these are brilliant uncirculated coins, you know, with that silver, none of that telltale copper line right there. All of that silver. It's got that original luster that you're going to have. I bought these as silver and they just sent me brilliant uncirculated coins. So I said, what the heck? I'll charge you the silver price. I'll give you all that. Now, so people go, okay, well, what difference does that make? Well, here's the difference that makes. I go to the nationally advertised catalog and they have these silver uncirculated Kennedy $half, the silver ones that we have right here. And the price on those ranges at the low end of $19.90 up to $21.95 per coin.
Per coin.
So I'm gonna call it 20 bucks for the math. So you pay $119.95.
Okay.
The numismatic value, retail value, is $400. Now, we're used to giving you pretty good, you know, nice opportunities in the coin business. But to be able to sell them to you at 70% off, okay? To be able to sell at 70% off the coin by coin retail, particularly as silver. So I've been selling, I bet you I've sold 1 million of these coins over the course of the years. Because I mean, we sell them always, you know, 20 at a time or 50 at a time or 100 at a time to be able to do this. And when silver was $50 an ounce, I think we charged $3.99 or $4.49 for this same 20 coins because it's very dependent on the price of silver. Silver was at about a 10-year or 9-year low, and that's when I got these. That's when I priced these at our feature pricing of $119.95. Now we have silver going absolutely ballistic out there in the marketplace, but I had already priced these, I had already purchased these. So when you said, can I get more of these? The answer is, of course, but the price given where silver is today is a little higher than that $169. I'd say for our pricing, $179 to $199. Even that is spectacular because remember, the coin by coin retail price of this is like $400. $400. Is like $400 is what we're looking at coin by coin to be able to do this on an individually coined basis, because they are brilliant uncirculated.
Yeah, nice.
So many times when you have the opportunity to buy these, they're not BU coins.
Right.
They're just coins that have been circulated.
Sure.
They're kind of,
Roughed up a little bit.
they're roughed up a little bit, which is nice. And then you do have the silver value that's contained within that. So look at that. And you see that beautiful reflection, that light, that luster. You know, as you can see, all of these coins are going to be 50 years old or older, you know, minimum of a half century old, because that's the last time they put silver in United States government issue coins, you know, that were intended for circulation. These are the uncirculated versions as well. Like I said, I think I ended up going into this show, I had probably the better part of about 900 of these rolls, which would make it about 18,000 coins. I had sold probably, when we originally agreed to do this with the feature price, I think I had about 2,500 rolls, so that would have been about 50,000 coins. And I have 900, basically 900 left is what I have in this particular deal. And so everyone that goes, 20 coins is gone, and 20 coins is gone, and 20 coins is gone. And I mean, you know, silver was up Friday, and silver was up Thursday, and silver was up Wednesday, and silver was up Tuesday. And I mean, you know, it just is doing this right here. And so my price, this feature price, will hold for only the quantity that I have, so for these 900 rolls. So what if silver goes to $25 an ounce or $28 an ounce? I mean, basically melt these coins at $119.95. You're getting close to that melt number. It has been a very, very long time, if ever, that I've been able to sell this, where my selling price, the majority of the value of this is literally the silver that's contained within this. And so that numismatic value, which, like I said, is $20 per coin, is yours in essence at no additional cost or charge. So the 20 coin, you know, the 20 coins that you have in here, these 20 silver Kennedy half dollars at $20 per coin, at $20 per coin, you're going to have these, there's going to be a $400 value. Oh, by the way, it comes in a nice little...
I was going to ask about that.
Right here.
Yeah. Nice
Just
little
like
holder.
that.
There you go.
It's going to come in that nice little roll right there, plastic roll, so that'll keep them nice and safe, and it'll keep them from tarnishing, and maintain that beautiful, brilliant uncirculated, and maintain that numismatic value even in the face of these rising silver prices.
You better
a great opportunity.
All that with a FlexPay. If you're new to HSN, anybody can use FlexPay. Even if this is your first launching off point in coin collecting, that makes it $39.98 plus a shipping and tax on your credit card. But when I think of my niece and nephew, I mean, this is a perfect way to get a young person started. You know, I was thinking about the things that I've purchased for them, and you know what? You're lucky if you even get 4 or 5 months out of what you buy a kid these days. No, crazy. I'm serious. Like
I understand.
They're tired of the video game a month later, right? You know, exactly. But this, money's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
money's not going anywhere.
This is something that gets passed down from generation to generation. It becomes a generational touchstone.
They
will always remember this, and that's a critical part of coin collecting.
That it
is the fact that it literally transcends the generations, and that's one of the really cool things, because you teach them about intrinsic value, the value of gold and the value of silver, the fact that there's collectible value and what that means. You know, what something's worth, the fact that, you know, these are half dollars, but they're worth significantly more than that because of all of these different factors.
Right, absolutely. So at this point, we have a little over basically the last 900 to go around, 371-563. We also don't limit quantities, which is something that's really interesting.
Particularly as silver's doing what it's doing.